Ambassador Ashok Kumar Sharma ji, former ambassador to Central Asian states and other countries. Pleasure to listen to you. We also have with us Professor Akhlaq Saab from Center of Persian and Central Asian Studies, School of Language, Literature and Culture Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Again, very eye-opening speech and very interesting one. We signed an MOU. Dr. Ramakant Trivedi ji was there, and in fact, we welcome all the dignitaries whom I can see. And, I'm so happy, Ambassador Ashok Kumar ji just now said, let's have multidisciplinary work. I think this is the need of the hour, and the present MOU which we have signed will definitely guide us, towards that. For this MOU, I will definitely let there be a particular roadmap, not only the signature part of you. We should have a roadmap for first year, what we need to do, for second year, what's the need to form some base of the data, something like that, then further analyze the data, something like that, visits, whatever it is. I think you are the best person to do it, so that really, if we have signed the MOU, we utilize this MOU, whether it's from research point of view, academic point of view, any type of, these days online we can have lectures. If lectures can be online, our students can go to any reputed institute, so that there's a change in the ideas and change in the knowledge. When we talk of Kashmir and Central Asia, in fact, it shares a historical and cultural connect that dates back centuries, already, said by earlier speakers also. The region of Kashmir, located in the Himalayas, has historically served as a gateway between South Asia and Central Asia. Over the years, the exchange of ideas, trade, and cultural influences have shaped the links and legacies between these regions. In ancient times, the Silk Road played a vital role in connecting Central Asia with Kashmir, which is of course very important. The trade routes facilitated the exchange of goods such as silk, spices, precious metals, and ideas between the two regions. This intermingling of cultures left a lasting impact on the art, architecture, language, and cuisine of Kashmir. Furthermore, the spread of Islam in Central Asia during the medieval period had a profound influence of Kashmir. Sufi saints and scholars from Central Asia played a significant role in the dissemination of Islamic teachings in the region, shaping its religious and cultural fabric. The Mughal Empire, which had its roots in Central Asia, also exerted its influence over Kashmir. Mughal emperors patronized the arts, resulting in the development of executive gardens, architecture, this is a part of this Central Asia, and craftsmanship in the region. The Mughal influence can still be seen in the iconic gardens of Kashmir, such as the Shalimar Bagh and Nishat Bagh. In modern times, there have been efforts to revive and strengthen the historical links between Kashmir and Central Asia. Cultural exchanges, trade initiatives, and tourism have played a role in fostering closer ties between the two regions. These connections not only contribute to the economic development of both areas, but also promote a deeper understanding and appreciation of their shared heritage. Overall, the links and legacies between Kashmir and Central Asia are a testament to the rich history and cultural interplay that have shaped the region over centuries. By revisiting these connections, we can foster greater cooperation and mutual understanding between the people of these regions. Very clear, whatever the earlier speaker said. In fact, when we revisit links and legacies, the Silk Route cannot be, forgotten. The tourism cannot be forgotten. The arts and crafts cannot be, forgotten. So I would definitely like, since the learned speakers who have come from other parts of the country, they must have watched the type of programs or the type of the JNK government is trying to do is revival of our old, arts and craft, revival of, tourism, this, Central Asian tourism and all that. So I would definitely like to see how University of Kashmir can play a role in it, and how our Central Asian Studies, center can play a role for that. I will definitely look forward to that in this, particular MOU, so that there is some type of guidance for a research scholar, for our youth, and for our tourism, especially. With these words, thank you very much. I congratulate the director of CCAS and her team for organizing one of the very important, 2-day seminar, and I definitely look forward to the recommendations which will come up, and keeping in view what I said, I think it has got immense importance. Thank you very much to all the delegates who have joined us from other parts of the country, and the other scholars from our own valley. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you. All the best.
I am very happy to be here in your department for the second time. Last time I came in June. I was just a tourist, and Mr. Ramakant Dwivedi, Dr. Ramakant Dwivedi requested the director that I should visit the institute also. And as soon as I came, within that period of 2 or 3 hours, I was impressed so much by this institute that I offered these services of all our scholars, all our members of India Central Asia Foundation. And I am really glad that within less than 6 months, we have been able to sign an MOU with this esteemed department. Well, today, here we can see the logo of G20 on the top of today's banner. This has a motto, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. One earth, one family, one future. This was the main theme of G20 held in Delhi this year. This is not a mere slogan or a philosophical thought. It is being scientifically proven and globally accepted process of human evolution. The theory of evolution explains how humans originated in the continent of Africa and traveled to different parts of Earth. Unless one completely rejects the theory of evolution, one has to agree that all of us are migrants from one part of the planet or the other. From out of Africa, migrants who arrived in the Indian subcontinent, or South Asia you may call it, either 65,000 or some people say 75,000 years ago, to later migrants, invaders, refuge seekers, conquerors and traders who chose to stay here, all have mingled and contributed to the making of this rich civilization called Indian civilization. Now we are all Indians, Punjabis, Bengalis, Kashmiris, Tamilians and so on. But we are all migrants. I would recommend that all young scholars of this institute must read these 2 books. The first is Early Indians, the story of our ancestors and where we come from by Tony Joseph. who was a journalist with Hindu for a long period. And the second book is Which of Us Are Aryans, which has been edited along with her own contribution by the noted historian Professor Romila Thapar. Both these books I will transfer to your institute in electronic form, which can be distributed among your students free of charge.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
When tracing the ancient and medieval commonalities between the civilizations and cultures of South Asia and Central Asia, we must accept that all of us are a multi-source civilization. None of us are a single source one. We have drawn our cultural impulses, its richness and heritage, its traditions and practices from a variety of ancestors, heredities, and a multiplicity of migrant groups across our history of migrations. The migrants from Africa who arrived 65,000 years ago, whose lineage is still the bedrock of our populations, to those who arrived from and via other parts of the continent, including West Asia, carrying agricultural revolution, the development of Harappan civilization, which became a harbinger of new practices and concepts, the Dravidian languages that enrich our culture today, migrants from East Asia who brought with them new languages and plants and farming techniques, and those who came from Central Asia, who carried the earlier version of India's great ancient language Sanskrit and its associated beliefs and practices. There were many streams which came to this melting pot and shaped our society in many ways. Even in recent centuries, one can see Turks, West Asians, Europeans, and even East Asians have a great influence on our multifaceted culture and traditions. Now I come to the commonalities and exchanges between Central Asia and India, and Kashmir in particular. According to Professor Romila Thapar, DNA studies of Indians dating to the millennia BCE confirm that they were a mixed population and at a particular time included migrants from Central Asia. There are several processes which took place. From around 2100 BCE, 2100 BCE, a southward migration of pastoralists from Kazakh steppe towards the southern Central Asian regions that would today be called Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. The migrants made an impact on the BMAC, but mostly bypassed it and moved towards South Asia throughout the second millennium BCE. Then 2000 to 1000 BCE, multiple waves of steppe pastoralists, migrants from Central Asia into South Asia, bringing Indo-European languages and new religions and new religious and cultural practices. The paper written by famous geneticists Professor Lalji Singh and Professor K. Thangaraj, co-authored with scientists from the Harvard Medical School in 2009, had stated that ancestral North Indians, called ANIs, were related to West Eurasians, West Asians, Europeans, Central Asians, and people of the Caucasus region. There is strong evidence to support the theory that Indian European language speakers who called themselves Aryans had migrated to India within the last 4,000 years or so after the Harappan civilization started declining. The issue of Aryan migration has been a political one for many years, with many scholars opposing the notion that Aryans were late migrants to this subcontinent and insisting that Aryans, Sanskrit, and the Vedas are the fundamental wellspring of Indian culture. But the genetic evidence suggests that there was indeed a substructure within the Aryan populations that migrated to India, which may correspond to the linguistic substructure. 10 out of 140 present day Indian population groups studied had significantly elevated steppe ancestry, and steppes are in Central Asia. The researchers found the strongest two signals of steppe ancestry in Brahmin, especially among Tiwaris of UP and Kashmiris. And more generally, there was a striking enrichment of signals in groups of traditionally priestly status, Pandits, which was most notable in northern India, of course, Kashmir, Himachal, Punjab, western UP. The enrichment is striking as these groups are among the traditional custodians of texts written in early Sanskrit, having a central role in spreading early Vedic culture. So, our relationship with Central Asia is several millennia old. I am not going into the details of all these claims and the possible instances of reverse migrations from and via India, nor I am discussing the role of Buddhism, which originated in India and spread in vast parts of East Asia and Central Asia. I wanted to underline the close genetic relationship that we have with Central Asians. And I again repeat that when I transfer these books to you, you must read them. I also want to highlight that we are one planet, one family, and have one future, which globalization and global issues have proved. Today's problems are global, and no one nation or even a set of nations can resolve them. These need global action where nobody should be left behind. For example, global warming, climate change, the direction of development, and so on. Social scientists have a big role to play in providing solutions to global problems, which sometimes is not properly acknowledged. And social sciences must join hands with natural sciences and even genetics to arrive at better conclusions than have been arrived today. And I am happy to note that many scholars from Jawaharlal Nehru University, including our keynote speaker today, are working on this issue, and Jawaharlal Nehru University has been the pioneer of interdisciplinary approach in the study of societies. I think we should deepen this interdisciplinary interaction between science and the social sciences so that we can again achieve the motto, achieve the purpose of this global family. Thank you very much.
The theme of the two-day seminar has been conceived fundamentally for two reasons. One, the inspiration from the Honorable Vice Chancellor, who encouraged us to organize this seminar, as she always provided insights to have interactions on the significance of the legacies of the Kashmir and Central Asia and its significance in contemporary times. Secondly, to refer to the civilizational and cultural ethos of Kashmir that emerged as a result of the impact of Central Asian intellectual heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to acknowledge the significance of the linkages and legacies between Central Asia and Kashmir, and the importance of fostering strong and meaningful links between Central Asia and Kashmir. This is not merely a geopolitical consideration, but a matter deeply rooted in history, culture, and the shared aspirations for peace and prosperity. Central Asia has always been a crossroads of civilization with its diverse range of cultures and history. Because of its advantageous position and wealth of resources, It is a region that interests many countries looking for political stability and economic prosperity. In similar pattern, Kashmir has a special place in the globe due to its magnificent scenery and composite heritage. In fact, 14th and 15th centuries constitute one of the prominent and formative phases in the history of Kashmir, as it accounted for momentous religious and cultural diversities. The immigration of saints and scholars, artisans and traders through the ages had an inconceivable effect on the social-cultural and economic landscape of the region that intensified the bilateral trade and promoted exchange of ideas, beliefs, and traditions from both sides. For example, the message of Buddha from India spread throughout Central Asia from Kashmir. With the spread of Islam in Central Asia, the region within a few centuries emerged as a great knowledge hub of medieval times, giving impetus to path-breaking research and development in different disciplines of knowledge alongside religious sciences. Hazrat Mir Ali Hamdani, along with his disciples, made a revolutionary epoch, making changes in the civilization, culture, and religious life of Kashmir by introducing the art of carving, mosaic work, samawar making, painting, calligraphy, shawl, and carpet designing. The historical relationship between Kashmir and Central Asia was enriched as expansion, propagation, and consolidation of Islam in Kashmir Valley, which became possible through the religious activities of the Sufi saints of Persia and Central Asia, with special reference to Bulbul Shah, Mir Ali Hamdani, and Mir Shamsuddin, etc. These Sufis left incredible mark on the cultural legacy of Kashmir. Furthermore, frequent visitors of Kashmiri scholars to centers of excellence like Herat, Samarkand, Marv, and Bukhara enhanced their spiritual and intellectual understanding. The prominent historical sources articulate that the region of Kashmir was culturally and industrially formed a part of cultural complex of Central Asia. The establishment of Muslim Sultanate in Kashmir considerably increased the immigration of Sufi missionaries due to their religious zeal, resulting in the people-to-people contact. Subsequently, all such scholars, ulemas, and Sufi saints became torch-bearers of secular perspective, tolerance, and communal harmony. As such, the contribution of each scholar to peaceful cosmopolitan civilization and cultural advancement in shaping the history of subcontinent is unprecedented. It is in fact this relevance of the seminar that multidimensional aspects of interconnectedness and the links and legacies need to be studied to make a new beginning in the two regions to promote culture, worldview, and value system. Promoting cultural and educational exchanges between Kashmir and Central Asia could strengthen people-to-people ties and foster a sense of shared identity. Moreover, building robust connections between Central Asia and Kashmir can strengthen in a new era of cooperation, development, and mutual understanding. The links between Central Asia and Kashmir are not just about geopolitical strategies. They represent an opportunity to build a future where nations collaborate for the greater good of their people. By embracing these connections, we can create a world where diversity is celebrated, economies thrive, and peace prevails.
زفرکو امتیاز کعبہ دایرم چمی پرسی اسیر عشق بودم ہرچ پیش آمد پرستیدم. Why do you ask the one who does not care the difference between one and the other shrine, as I have always been besotted of love, and whatsoever encountered I fell for. The area which we call as Central Asia historically and culturally, and particularly those who are aware of the history of Persian culture, literature, they know that this whole region used to be known as Khorasan-e-Buzurg, that included the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent, Afghanistan, northeastern part of contemporary Iran, and the whole Central Asia. And this has been, this area, whole region has been the cradle of civilization for not many centuries, but for thousands and thousands of years, and has been a cradle of many civilizations, religions, traditions, movements, intellectual and spiritual movements. And before the whole notion of nation state that limits the regions, a colonial and Western concept which accurately does not suit to the epistemic background of our part of the world. The major part of this cultural region falls in the contemporary Uzbekistan, particularly Samarkand, Bukhara, and the region around Khiva and the Fargana Valley, and India and the Central Asia are the regions historically having the most intimate relations, and therefore the two areas share the cultural heritage which I will come to. This area also comprises the Silk Route, which has been in the news and of the attention of academic world. The term, though, was coined by a German scholar, Ferdinand von Richthofen, in the late 19th century. But this Silk Route has always been there, and its arteries has been connecting the whole region, Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, from China to the contemporary, the Eastern Rome or the contemporary Turkey, and the exchanges, commercial, cultural exchanges, including the diffusion of different religious and socio-cultural ideas, trends and traits, including Sufism from the borders of Europe to the Eastern Asia and Central and South Asia. Roughly, this road extends from Rome to China, which includes Western and Central Asia, modern days newly independent republics, which were formerly and Soviet Turkestan. I would also like to highlight a few connecting points that has been between our region, including Kashmir, Indian subcontinent, and Central Asia. First of all, comes to our mind is Buddhism. And Buddhism became a very popular tradition in Central Asia, and it certainly was from Indian subcontinent, and Bukhara being the center of Buddhism. Earlier Bukhara was the center of Mithraism, then Zoroastrianism in the 3rd century AD, and after that it became the center of Buddhism, and from there it got propagated in the whole East Asia. And it is also said that the whole, this word, the term Bukhara, this name of the city, is derived from Vihara, that is Viharas, the Buddhist Vihara we know, the monasteries of Buddhism. And there has been deep and engaging linguistic and literary interaction throughout the history. And we know that in the 6th century, one of the books of this region, Panchtantra, was earlier translated into Pahlavi as Kartak wo Damnak, and then it got translated into Persian, then Arabic, and then in other languages from there. And the whole Persian literary tradition has some kind of influence of this style of writing, of fables and parable that is inspired by Panchtantra. Then we have poets of during the medieval period, the poets like Amir Khusro, Mirza Bedil, Abdurrahim Khane Khana, Babur. We know him as a ruler, but in Central Asia he is mostly recognized as the literary genius. Mirza Kamran and Mirza Ghalib. They all have their ancestry from this Central Asian region, particularly, as I mentioned, from the Uzbekistan. And similarly, Abu Rayhan al-Biruni. Birun is near a hamlet near the Kharazm, or Ganj they call it, near Khewa. And al-Biruni, we know that he, before entering into the Indian borders or Indian heartland, mostly, as Maulana Azad has written, that he traveled in Punjab, in the Sindh and Kashmir for over 10 years and studied. And before coming to India, he learned Sanskrit in Ghazni. And then he came and he studied different texts. And he happens to be the first Indologist having the incisive knowledge and the first-hand information which he explains in his book Ma'al al-Hind. And he also criticizes at some time that the people who came before him, like Al-Masudi, like who have written about India, and they use mostly the second-hand information. So he also rather establishes a kind of interfaith debate and discussion vis-a-vis the incisive information about the Indian society, culture, and the geographical information. Ulugh Beg is a king, though, in Central Asia, in Uzbekistan, in 14th, 15th century. But he is also an astronomer and a great scientist, scholar, and he has inspired many of the writings of Indian astronomers, though he also was inspired by the Indian knowledge tradition. In 10th century, you must be remembering one of the scholars sent by Harun al-Rashid in 10th century to Banaras, Al-Mashar, who studied astronomy, and he is considered as the reference point in the whole Arabic tradition, which centered in Baghdad, in Baitul Hikmah. So the second person is Ulugh Beg, and Ulugh Beg's writing in his book I personally saw in the museum of Jaipur family. They have all these books, and I have personally seen the whole library and how Sawai Jai Singh in 18th century writing Zeech Muhammad Shahi. And then another personality comes to our mind who connects this whole region is Rumi. Maulana Rumi comes from the same Khurasan Buzurg, and he also travels the Silk Route and went and stationed in Konya, the eastern Rome, and that's why he is known as Rumi. And his Masnavi Manavi, the 6th volume magnum opus and the book that theorizes the Sufi traditions, also reminds us that how he discusses the philosophy of Wahdatul Wajud.